Hey, Joe, thanks for joining us today. As way of getting started, give us a little background on yourself.
Well, let's see. What do you need to know? I went to college, Central Michigan University, and then after that, I got a job in radio and bounced around broadcasting. Found a gig that I liked, hung out for about 30 years, got kicked out of that, went to work for a minor league baseball team in sales and marketing.
So how do you like sales?
Oh, I love sales.
Yeah, tell us
Yeah.
why.
Well, I think, see, I Brian, I think the trouble with sales, is people have to be comfortable with being a salesperson. I mean, if that's what I am, I'm a salesperson. I'm not using this platform in broadcasting. A lot of people tried to get into broadcasting, on air, but there were no jobs, so they would thought sales and we'll get in. And the same with baseball.
Yeah,
Oh well, I really want to be the promotion director. I really want to do this, but the only jobs are in sales. Well, that never works because the best way to be successful in sales is just be comfortable that you're a salesperson.
yeah. And were you always comfortable as a salesperson?
No, no, because when you know colleges and academia don't do sales any justice.
No.
You got a bunch of well, people who teach in college that probably failed in the real world, so they go to colleges and teach. Because I had broadcasting professors that were in broadcasting, and I was doing it successfully, actually in the business and making like four times what they were making.
Yeah.
But they're all, I don't know why. Maybe it's because they failed in sales, or there's this academic fear of sales, when in reality 80% of the first jobs in most industries are going to be in sales.
Yeah. And what do you like about it?
um Problem solving.
Yeah.
I like, it's kind of like, I can't sell anybody anything, but what I can do is I can research, I can prepare, I can listen to people, and if I know that if I can solve their problem, okay, I'm going to be a valuable resource. And I kind of like being that valuable resource because, you know, if I learned long ago that if I can solve somebody's problem, or even in baseball, if I can provide somebody with an experience, or what we call a cell phone moment, where they whip out the cell phone and take a picture because it's so moving, you know, if I can do that, I will be successful. And then everything else follows up on that, the money and everything else.
Yeah. And what was it like going from marketing into sales? Because marketing is kind of it's sales at volume, but it's very different.
No, marketing should be a part of sales, but in
Okay.
many organizations, marketing is not.
Yeah.
They clash,
Yeah.
and sales is the most fun. Sales, will give you the most security.
Yeah. And I see more people going sales to marketing than I see going from marketing to sales.
Right. Well, because people who, people who, don't want to be in sales. And I tell this I work with quite a few people in their 20s here at the ballpark. The great thing about sales is it's the only job left with a security and any chance of unlimited, and I know that sounds like a 1980s, classified ad, unlimited income.
Yeah.
You know, everybody, if you go work for corporate, they cap you. They know how much you should make, and they're going to tell you how much you should make until you make too much, and then they get rid of you for somebody 20 years younger. You know,
And in sales, it's up to you.
right.
And you like
If
that.
if I successfully solve people's problems, if I successfully give people experiences and they come back to me time and time again, that gets me a seat at the table.
Yeah. And walk us through like your sale. Who do you target? How do you approach them? What's the process?
Well, basically, right now in baseball, corporate entertainment, corporate team building. One of the big things is employee retention. Well, one of the best ways to retain employees is wine them and dine them and take them to a Great Lakes Loons baseball game. So if you're looking for employee retention, it's you know everybody pretty much pays the same. So what are those little extras? What are those
Yeah.
things that if I work for this company that I can help that company provide their employees, or even they're looking to impress customers. That little extra thing that I can do. So basically, anybody anybody with a business is my customer. And whether it's season tickets, or whether it's a corporate suite, whether it's a venue, whether it's a sponsorship, it all works because everybody's looking for a way to impress a client, or impress their employees, or even on a regular basis impress family members. Because you get a dad coming out to the ballpark and all he wants to do is impress his kids.
Yeah.
So if I can give that dad a cell phone moment, you know, I'm in.
And do you get a lot of inbound or is it mostly outbound?
Both,
Yeah.
both. I have a radio background, and advertising and radio sales. You have to be fairly outbound because,
Yes.
especially in advertising, there are so many different ways, to advertise. So if I've always approached it like my best customer could leave tomorrow. Okay, so what am I going to do? And if the pandemic taught us anything, it taught us that they could take all this away from us, and
Then what?
yeah, then what do you do? Okay,
So,
now what? You're starting from zero again.
well, let's say it's cold outbound. Who do you target within a company? What title?
It depends. Sometimes human resources. I
Okay.
try to target the highest office that I can get into, because I know that it all rolls downhill. So if the president or the corporate VP or whatever are buy in, all the other ducks will fall in a row.
Yeah.
So, human resources is okay.
Yeah.
The sales manager is okay. But if I can get a directive from the top, I can
Yeah.
get both the human resources manager and the sales manager and the person in charge of, employee engagement. So it's like any sales. The higher up you can go, the
The
better it
better.
is.
And how do you get them interested?
Variety of ways. Just I'm a big emailer. I'm a big in terms of, like, I've developed in the 7 years that I've been here, I've developed a list of everybody that I've come in contact with. I use video. I think my approach is a little bit different because I like to, and I did this in radio too. I like to think like the customer. It's from The Godfather, which is the greatest business movie ever.
Yeah.
When Michael Corleone said that his dad used to teach him to think like other people would think. Well, if I think like other people, if I think like, okay, I'm the corporate VP, or I'm the human resource director, if I'm the sales manager, what am I looking for? What are my hot buttons? How do I want to be approached?
Yeah.
And just, my the clients and the customers dictate the way that I call on people.
Yeah. And so let's say they take a meeting or a conversation or a call. How does that go? What's
Well, hopefully, if I'm worth my weight in anything, I've done a lot of research on the company. I figured out I figure out what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and what I kind of view is like, look, here's an opportunity. I've noticed that I've noticed that you're very active in Indeed and you're looking to recruit employees. Well, one of the things that we can help you with here at the Great Lakes Loons is if you have an employee outing, that would increase employee satisfaction, and it might make you attractive to somebody looking for a job. If
Yeah.
you're, the sales manager, figuring out that, hey, your sales are going pretty well, but you know what? We could, look at who are your A-level customers. Who would you like? Who do you have? Everybody has somebody on their list that they would like to take to the next level. Well, if you let me do my job, I can help you take those clients to the next level.
So you're
And
not
that's
talking about the loons, you're talking about the outcome they get from going to the game.
right. It's
Yeah.
again, it's the experience. I sell the experience, and I sell the cell phone moments because, that's what matters.
Yeah.
The Loons play 66 home games. We have a nice ballpark, blah blah blah. It
No
doesn't,
one cares, right?
that that's that just means something to me, but it doesn't, my job is to think as the customer, think as the client, and figure out what their needs are. Plus, a lot of research goes into that too. I prefer not to go into meetings cold, and with today's internet, there's just so much out there. There's no reason why, I should ever go into a meeting and not have a grasp of something. And two,
No.
what it does too is the research also gets me instant credibility.
Yeah. And is this a model that you came up with on your own, or did somebody teach you or train you, or?
I developed it when I was in radio, and if
Yeah.
you know anything about radio sales in the mid '80s when I started, it was pretty much here's the phone book, kid. Knock them
Yeah.
out, and in 3 weeks, when you get discouraged, we'll bring in somebody else. And here's the phone book, kid, and blah blah blah. Well, I starved for a couple of years, at my job that I was at for 30 years. But by starving, it was a great education. I learned the best way possible. There's no better teacher than going in and getting your butt kicked.
Yeah. And that happened, huh?
Oh, numerous times. I mean, it was like, fall down, get back up, fall down, get back up, stay
And
down.
what's the hardest part of the sale?
um, I don't know.
No, it's all easy.
No, it's not easy, but it's
It's
it's not,
understandable.
it's if again, with sales, if I can figure out the problem and I can solve your problem, okay, I can't make anybody buy anything they don't want. I've
Right.
always held that, maybe once, you can talk somebody into something, but like with baseball and the Loons, or with radio, my previous career, where you make the money is the repeat customers.
Yeah.
And and if you can continue to solve people's problems, they're going to let you in, because I would rather be in the boardroom when the decisions are being made as a resource, as opposed to being the guy criticizing the decisions 2 days after they've been made, and I can't really do anything there. But it all smacks back to credibility and delivering results.
And for the people who are listening who haven't heard of the Loons, why the Loons?
Single A, high A affiliate of the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's we've had a lot of major leaguers start their careers here. Clayton
Yeah.
Kershaw started his career here, and if you watch Dodgers in the World Series, 6 of their starters all started here. And I enjoy the sports, and actually I enjoy the contacts. Like last night, we had a game, and I had the president of a multi state dealership. He was in one suite. I had the president of a credit union in another venue. I had 3 other high-powered local attorneys in another suite. The contacts that I can make are just amazing, and I enjoy that, and I
Yeah.
I enjoy when they walk out of the ballpark, and I know that I did it right and they're going to come back.
And let's say you have that first call. How do you keep the deal moving? Because I'm sure they're curious about it. Maybe they're even interested in doing it. But how do you're trying to sell what, season tickets or
Season tickets, venues like suites, or I think it's up to you to kind of create a little urgency.
yeah,
If I'm excited about it, they'll be excited about it, and that holds the true with any product, if I think that people can really sense going through the motions.
yeah,
And if I'm excited about it and I can build a little excitement, on that first call and get you interested and, invite you out to the ballpark for a tour, that's always a good thing, let you test drive a seat, sit in this seat. Now just imagine yourself in this seat for
yeah,
66 home games,
yeah.
you know, and just little things like that. Now, not everybody does it, but if you call on enough people, you will get enough people.
And it is a volume game or is it a networking game? Because I'm
Yes.
it's everything, huh?
Yes. Yeah. All of the above. Well, because again, I always approach it like my best client, my best customer could leave today.
Yeah,
And and with you've always got to be out there, aggressively looking for the next customer, because again, is one thing COVID has taught us: you never know. The business that is here today might not be here tomorrow. If you made your living calling on VCR repair shops, you better have
yeah.
you better have broadened your horizons.
And I get the president or the leader of the company. I get the sales manager, but how about HR? I mean, they're kind of even keeled, nice people,
Mm-hmm.
but not incredibly aggressive or challenger or mavericks within the company.
HR people tend to want to, they know that, and so, you know, hey, I can make you a star in your organization.
Yeah.
Okay, because nobody's turning it to the HR person at the meeting and going, "All right, yeah." Usually when somebody thinks of an HR person, they're rolling their eyes. Hey, how'd you like to be looked at in a good light?
Yeah.
How'd you like to do something that everybody will be thanking you for at the end of the evening? Or, with season tickets, 66 home games, how would you like the sales manager or the sales people to come back to you and thank you for purchasing season tickets because they just landed a big deal because we got some customer's kid on the field and an autograph with the mascot?
Yeah.
And you're as the HR director, you can be the cause of that.
Yeah.
You
And
can start that.
how many of these 66 games do you go to?
Oh, all of them.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you got to. You've got to. If I sell it, I have to service
Yeah.
it. I want to be there when and two, it's great to interact with people because a ball game is a great setting as opposed to like a business meeting, because people are a little bit looser at a ball
Yeah.
game. People are a little bit, hey, how are you? And there's more opportunities at a game for me to create that cell phone moment.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing how, for example, a couple of well-placed hats can make somebody's night. And again, if you've got an important client and they've got their kids at the game, wow, you got my kids on the field to sing happy birthday, you know,
Oh.
kind of sound, again, we created that cell phone moment. We created that experience.
And do you think your marketing, because that's kind of creative. Did your marketing background help you with that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and two, I was in radio. I did morning radio for 26 years.
That must have been
And
fun.
whoa, it was great. There's no better immediate response I didn't, if you do something on a morning radio show and the response is right there.
Yeah.
You get that feedback and okay, this was good. Keep doing this. This didn't really go so well. So keep, and that's kind of what you kind of carry that over to marketing and you kind of carry that over to sales.
Yeah. And are you one of many salespeople? Are you the salesperson or?
There are like 8 of us.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a, yeah.
there are 8 of us.
And what makes a great salesperson in this space?
Well, like any salesperson, I
Well, I
think,
mean, you've done stuff that I certainly wouldn't have thought of, but that work.
I think, I have a big thing like, unqualified gratitude. Be grateful for I'm grateful for what I have.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I had a couple of strokes and I had to wait in the hospital for 6 days to have surgery. And my whole goal was not to die during those 6 days.
That's a good
So
goal.
that teaches you gratitude,
Yeah.
because everybody can look at, what they don't have. But, I look at what I have and, what makes a great salesperson is just somebody who wants to help others.
Yeah.
If I can, help people accomplish their goals, whether it's an advertising or marketing thing, whether it's a baseball game, whether it's a whatever, I'll be successful. It's that helping people. I don't, I'm not a good salesperson in the traditional, like, I can't, I don't know the the flashcard objections. I don't know any of that. My
The 72
CRM,
closes.
yeah, my CRM is probably a little shabby, but
Uh-oh.
I know that if I can solve a person's problem, if I can become a resource to that person, I'm always going to get the business, as opposed to the flashy, I can answer any objection that you have, throw at me, go ahead and give it to me.
But I mean, the problem that you're solving is a latent problem, meaning that they're not actively thinking about it. Nobody's saying, which game should we go to this year? They're
Right.
kind of, but you're solving, any parent wants to be a star in front of their kid, right?
Yeah. I'm making them aware of something that they might not know,
Yeah.
or even in advertising, by helping people, when I was selling advertising, helping businesses grow their business,
Yes.
that's a really cool feeling to walk into a business. And because you help that client win, because you've helped that client increase market share or accomplish their goal, you're a rock star.
Yeah.
You
And
go in and just, it's great.
I bet. And do the other reps kind of like copy you, or do they do the show up and tell them about the loons?
Well, I have a theory that 10 to 15% of people in life will be successful, and the rest will just complain about the 10 to 15% that'll be successful. It's like with anything.
Yeah.
I can't make you want it. That has to come in from inside.
Yeah.
And I've got a couple of sons that are very successful. They're twins. One of them's in supply chain at British Aeronautics, and the other's a second-year medical doctor at the Cleveland Clinic. And they've all both been self-motivated. I can give you the tools, but I can't teach you to, what are you doing at 3:30 in the afternoon? Are you making that last call? Are you preparing for the next day? Or are you preparing, what bar
For
you're going to
happy
go
hour.
to at happy hour? Right. I can tell a successful salesperson, by what they're doing at 3:30 in the afternoon.
And where'd this drive come from for you?
I don't know.
Oh, come on. Were you this way as a kid?
Yeah.
You were. Okay.
Oh yeah. I think you just have it. You just, you just, I think that that some people have it in them, and if you're put in the right circumstances, they foster that, and they grow. A lot of people would say mine was built out of a huge inferiority complex.
Well, usually there's something, right? There's either you grow up without something, or you want something, or you have a chip on your shoulder for some reason, or you didn't fit into school, or somebody told you couldn't do it, so you do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm a recovering alcoholic. I haven't had a drink in 37 years. January 27th, 1986 was my last. So I would imagine there's some psychological or like inferiority, or just wanted to be included, wanted to fit in. I'm sure there's some of that in there.
Well, do you become connected to work? Does work become your buzz, your high, your passion?
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I've learned, and this is what helped me with kids, is I never take work home, because the lines blur.
Right.
Then all of a sudden,
And there is no home. It's just
right,
work.
right. I would rather work a few extra hours at the office and come home and say, okay, kids, you've only got me for 3 hours tonight, but you have my total undivided attention. As
Yeah.
opposed to, I could be home 2 hours earlier and be on the laptop, and I, kind of do a prairie dog and look up every 20 minutes to see who's still there, and then prairie dog down back on my laptop.
Yeah.
You have to have that balance.
Well, especially when you go into 66 games a
Yeah.
year. That's that takes up a little bit of time too.
Well, and in broadcasting, I was both on the air and sales. So I would get into the station about 4 in the morning, and I would leave at 6 at night. So
Oh,
you just have to have that. You have to have that separation.
yeah.
But then again, you have to realize what's important.
Yeah. Hey, this has been a great conversation, Joe. Where can people go to connect and follow you and learn more about the loons?
Well, they can go to LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, and just go to loons.com, and you can grab me there. I would happy to talk to anybody. Because I think salespeople need to be other salespeople's best friends.